Hello, I'm Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop located here in San Diego, California. Today we're going to talk about the Glock 43 and in particular the magazine release button for the Glock 43. We've developed an extended magazine release button that I think is probably the best in the market. And, you know, we've been working through a lot of custom parts on the 43, and this is one that, you know, they didn't get to right away. But I'm glad I didn't, because we got a lot of feedback from customers, and they said, hey, we're looking for something like this. And so after playing with it a whole bunch and doing some R&D, I've come up with a really great magazine release button. And I'm going to show you how to install today and also talk about some of the ins and outs of the Glock 43 itself. And I've got a couple here to show you as well. In particular, let's start with the factory Glock 43. As you know, at this time, the Glock 43 is the most popular handgun in Glock's repertoire of guns in America right now. The Glock 43 is hot. The 19 is still very hot. But this 43 is selling like crazy because it's so small, so thin, so lightweight, and everything. Now, you know, because it's small, it has some, you know, shortcomings. It's hard to get a good grip on it because your hand will fall off it. Glock does come up with a magazine extended version, an extension on the one magazine. Let's go ahead and look at that magazine. Of course, is empty. Gun is, of course, empty. Pull the trigger in a safe direction. Always keep a gun pointing in a safe direction at every time, of course. So there's our gun, and again, without the magazine extension, you can see my hand falls off on it. With the small little extension that comes with the Glock, it's a little fingertip extension. Actually, you can get a little bit more on there, so you can see I can get just about half my pinky on there. It could still fall off a little bit, but still, it's better than without. Now, the magazine release button, as it comes from the factory, is very flat and maybe a little bit harder to access than a lot of people like, and that's why we've developed this extended magazine release button. The one thing I see a lot of people do is they'll actually go to, especially with this gun because it's so small, is they'll have their hand on top of the other side of the magazine release button, and they push on it, and they don't get any action because they're actually impeding this from popping out. You notice in here close, you're going to see, you know, when I push the button from the side, it comes up, and that, of course, is what lets the magazine, you know, fall out or be released. So if your hand is on top of that, which often I see happen, and you're pushing on that button, it, of course, won't work because you're impeding its progress or its movement out of the frame. So, of course, as you go to release it, you have to kind of adjust your grip a little bit and get your hands off of that, kind of make a little tunnel there so that when you push, out it comes. Just the nature of a small gun. Your hands are all over it. Be careful, again, I see a lot of people making that mistake. This thing doesn't work that well. Well, yeah, you have to make sure you're not impeding its progress. That's the factory setup. Works great. It's a great gun. Great for your pocket, great for your purse, great for your small concealed carry holster. This is one of those guns that you actually forget that you're carrying because it is so small and so lightweight. But shoots a 9mm cartridge, and there's a lot of great self-defense 9mm ammo available. Now, from that plain black Glock to another extreme, this is one of our custom guns that we just got done for one of our customers. This particular gentleman has done 3 custom guns with us, this being the 3rd. He did 2 for himself, and his wife said, hey, well, what about me? so he built this for her, and it's a nice surprise, I think, for her. You can see it's got the Bad Kitty engraving, which is kind of neat, kind of custom, of course, right? There you go, that's nice. And then on the back side, we have the Bad Kitty slide cover plate for her. And then, of course, what you really notice is the leopard Hydra graphic finish for the frame. And, of course, our pyramid trigger. And again, we want to go ahead and drop the magazine. No rounds inside. Take a peek inside the chamber. Empty. Pull the trigger in a safe direction. Now, the thing you'll notice about this particular gun is that the pyramid trigger is much more comfortable than the factory trigger on your hand. I mean, for whatever reason, and those of you who own the 43 know, the safety on this factory trigger is pretty darn sharp. I mean, you could almost cut tomatoes with that thing. And if you shoot, you know, rapidly, you're going to feel it on your finger. So, of course, our pyramid trigger has a smoother and wider shoe, and it's aluminum, so it's not plastic, doesn't have any sharp edges on it, and of course it's available in different colors too. So that's our pyramid trigger. It's a lighter, crisper trigger pull. For these 43s, we typically put this out at about 4 pounds. And really short reset, and right there it is again. So it's short, fast, crisp, and lighter than the factory. And of course, this is a full custom job that has got our pyramid trigger, has got the engraving, and of course the hydrographic dip. You can see how we finished that with the magazine release. So there's a nice little package, and I'm sure his wife will be very happy that he went to this extreme to take care of her. That's how you stay married for a long time. Now here's my gun. This is my 43. And you can notice a couple things on this guy. I've changed the sights. These are the dead ringer sights. They're night sights, glow in the dark. I've got the American flag as my slide cover plate. On the trigger, I've got the pyramid trigger with the black shoe and the red safety. Okay, let's go ahead and drop this guy. Look inside, no rounds there. No rounds there, pull the trigger in a safe direction. Now you'll notice on my magazine, I actually have the +1 extension that we sell. And this is an aluminum extension. Now compare that to the factory, just the fingertip extension. And you're gonna notice something that's really significant in my mind. It's really, if we look at these things, the front is about the same size. I think ours is just a little bit longer. But it's the back that I find to be most significant. Let's see if I can get this up for you here. There you go. There. You can see how ours is a little bit deeper. Now this is the +1, so our magazine extension holds 1 extra round. We also have one that holds 2 extra rounds. This is the +1 version. You'll see that, again, it gives you a better grip, but what I feel to be most significant for accuracy and for better grip is that it gives you a grip on the back. So when I put my hand on it, I have a place to anchor the palm or butt of my palm onto the gun. So as I shoot, I'm pushing out with that to kind of keep it right where I want it to be. Without that, your grip will deteriorate over shooting. So as you shoot, I find myself slipping off the top of this thing and don't have as much control of the gun as I'd like to. That's, you know, really, I think, a major advancement of our +1 and +2s. They give you something to really anchor your hand on. We also have just a +0 with no extra rounds. Basically, about the same size as this, just doesn't take any extra rounds for those who don't want to increase the capacity. So you can either do the 6, 7, or 8 rounds in your Glock 43. And of course, most popular is the +2 because people like to have that. But now we're talking about the magazine release button. And of course, you know I have a pyramid trigger because it is shorter and crisper, lighter, and all that good stuff. I've got the tungsten guide rod, which helps reduce recoil. And like I said, I got the night sights. But what I do have here is the extended magazine release button. This is it right here. This is our new item for the Glock 43. Okay. Now I want you to take a moment to look at it a little bit and see what we've done here and why we've done it. We kind of rounded it around a little bit so that it does stick out more so than the factory, but not too much as to be obtrusive or to be a problem with the concealed carry holsters or carrying, so it doesn't accidentally bump down by itself. So let me compare it now to the factory and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So there is the factory and then ours, and let's see how I can get these guys maybe side by side so you can look at them here. So you can see the side, there's our button right here, and there's the factory button there. And see how much ours sticks out compared to the factory is flat, which makes it a little bit harder to access. Ours has a little bit of radius to it, sticks out just enough, and you can see we serrated it a little bit to give you something to hold on to on the top there. So that's kind of the difference. And I find it to be much easier to access and work when you want to. Now, same is true, you have to make sure you're not pushing on this side because you're not going to be able to get out. You always have to make sure you got a little bit of room there just so this thing can drop out by itself. And there it is, a drop-free mag, which is what a lot of people like. In a tactical world, you want to take that mag and put it in your pocket and put a new magazine in. You never really want your magazines to fall on the ground unless you're in competition. But in the real world, if you're shooting and your magazine's empty, put that in your pocket so you can have it for the next time or reload it again. You never know when you'll be able to get another magazine in the real world. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the installation of this part. Here they are right here. Of course, I think you've seen them earlier there, but that's our color schemes. We have the black, silver, red, blue, gold, and we do have a pink version as well. That's kind of by demand. Very easy installation, a little bit trickier than the normal factory larger Glocks, but same concept. So again, I'm going to go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded. No rounds. No rounds. Pull the trigger in a safe direction. I'm going to disassemble this the same way we normally disassemble a Glock. Pull the slide back about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. Pull the slide lock lever down, hold it down, and then push forward on the slide, and the slide comes off. Now you don't have to do that part. I'm doing it so that we can go ahead and look inside this frame and show you. So this is always the hardest part with this particular piece because it's hard to get in here. But I'm going to see if I brought a flashlight with me today, and I'm going to see if I can get some light on this guy here. So there's the light, and there's the piece. And so let's see here if I can get this straightened out here, right like that, and there. So maybe you can push in a little bit more and get a good focus on that. Let me back this light off just a tad. Okay, so see the steel rod there? That's actually a spring. Now, in a perfect world, I'd be able to hold this thing with all these fingers here and get you to look at that thing better. Let's see here. So now, let's see if I can actually work that spring here. So here, I'm going to work the magazine button, and you can see the spring actually moving. Okay? You see it, I hope. Let's see, here we go. There we go. So the spring is just a roll pin that's captured in the frame. All right, it's very simple. It's one of those things now you can see how it works. I want to make sure you understand the concept before we take it apart. Now, if you notice really there on your left side there's a little notch. Okay, that notch, we want to push that spring over to that notch and actually take the spring out of the actual magazine button itself. Now let me show you when you're about to take this piece out. I'll demonstrate here on the gold one. The roll pin or the spring actually sits inside this notch, and it sits here like so in the frame, and so it's captured by the frame, and it's sitting straight up and down. Now what we want to do is reach in there with our screwdriver and actually push this pin across to the open spot, and then scoop it out, and it'll sit there and rest on top like so. That's when we reach in with our pliers and pull it off. So it's important that you understand the relationship of this pin and this notch, and all we're really trying to do is push it over to the notch, and then you got to scoop it out. The tools you're going to need here are some kind of flathead screwdriver. And I like a longer one because I get a little bit better leverage and a little bit of scoop. So we're going to go in there. It's going to be hard to show you on camera, but we're going to go in there. We're going to scoop that button across. We're going to not the button, but the rod across. We're going to push it into that open spot and then push it out. Easier said than done, but once you understand the concept and you mess around with it a little bit, it's not that hard. So I'm going to get in here with this screwdriver. I'm going to push this guy over. And one of the things we want to make sure we do is we hold it in place right here, my other hand. So what I don't want to do is push this across at all, and then it makes it harder to get out. So I'm going to hold that down and come in here and actually scoop that sucker out. And like I said, it's easier said than done, but here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so now let me show you. Here's what it looks like before you actually take it apart now. So we'll come back in here, and you're going to see that I've got it out. There you go. That's a good shot right there. I've got it out of the piece. And that's what I want it to look like. Now, with the regular Glocks, I would typically leave it in. But with this 43, we found it's best to go in there and pull that rod out and then reorientate the other one. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to reach in here, and with these needle nose pliers, I'm going to pull out the entire rod I want to grab it, and again, got to put my cheaters on here because I can't see that thing as well as I used to. Okay, here we go. So I go in here, grab the entire thing, and just pull it straight out. And that is the spring that we're dealing with. Just a little roll pin is what it is that has a little bit of spring action to it. It gets anchored into the plastic. That's all. There's no other attachment. There's just a hole in the bottom of the frame that you'll see that actually goes into right here. So once you do that, you can take this piece out, and there it comes out just like so. Then we'll put the silver one in. Now this time, actually, let me put the red one in because it'll match my trigger. And again, it's ambidextrous, so you'll notice there's one little ledge here. If I want to put it on this side, I put it like so, and it fits in like that. If I were left-handed, okay. But I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way around because I'm right-handed, and you'll notice it goes with the bar like so. So let's get it situated here properly, and that's basically how it fits, just like that. So now all we have to do is go in and put our spring back into the notch. To put it back in, again, you put the part in first, then you put your spring in. Your spring's going to be sitting down here. We want to push the spring all the way down, and then we just push it over with our screwdriver, and we push it over, and it just drops into this thing. And as soon as it clears the notch, it'll spring back into place. And again, it gets captured back there, and that's the action that keeps it in the proper place in the gun itself. So you notice again, just looking at the bottom here, that's why that notch actually captures this piece, and it goes in like so. So let's take another look down there real quick before we move forward, and you'll see there's no spring there yet. Let's see, there you go. That's it. So see the way down there, there's a little hole, the funnel, kind of like a triangle, the plastic triangle. That's where the roll pin spring is going to go. All right. So it's just a rolled spring. So now I'm going to grab that back with my needle nose pliers. And there's no perfect way to do this except to reach down there. Just place it in place. Now it seems like I got it lined up right. So then I want to go back here with my pliers or my screwdriver and just push it down all the way. Okay, now we want to make sure we seat it all the way in there. So now I've got it, and it kind of bottomed itself out. I kind of finally got in there. So now we're back to where we were just a moment ago. I'll see if I can show you from this direction too. There you go, that's a good shot. And that's the pin now resting on top of, the spring resting on top of the magazine piece. And if you look off to, let's see here, it'd be this side over here, your right, there's going to be a notch over there. It's hard to see, but there it is. See that little notch up there? Let's see if I can get a little bit more light on it there. There it is, yeah, right there. I got to push that pin over to that notch. And again, easier said than done. Just takes a little bit of effort. So take my screwdriver again, and this time, instead of scooping it out, I'm going to push it over and scoop it in. So it's, again, like I said, it's not impossible, just a little bit tricky. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get this guy pushed over there. And again, this is where you really got to make sure you push this guy over so you don't, as you're pushing over, also push over the magazine release button. So you want to hold it down in place and bring it over here to that hole. And get it in place just like that. Voila. Not impossible, a little bit cumbersome. Just have the right tool and your cheaters, and you can do it well. So there it is. Now test it. Voila. Seems like it's working good. Yes, it is. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. So now I have successfully installed the red extended magazine release button. And our item number for this is on our video here. Let's see, now we'll put the slide back on. Okay. Now, good positive there. Push the button, comes out easy. Nice match with the color. Gotta love that. So that is our extended magazine release button for your Glock 43. I think you'll find it's going to be a significant improvement over the factory, available in 5, maybe 6 different colors, and certainly will allow you to further customize and improve your Glock 43. I'm Lenny McGill. This is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in San Diego. If you're ever down in San Diego, please come by and see us. I'm at the store usually almost every day. If I'm not in the store, we've got some great guys out there who can take good care of you. We have some shooting ranges to play at. It's definitely a fun, unique store, and I invite you to come down to San Diego and visit us. Thanks for watching. I'm Lenny McGill. See you next time.